Okay, so it's the next day back here on my lunch break. Got some packages in, got his flush mounts in. Just got to get the longer screws for it. And tie these into the factory harness. I'm going to tie the lights into the high beam. It's a little bit higher wattage, so I don't have to cut up his factory wiring. I got these bullet hole connectors I'm going to put in there so it fits into the stock connectors there. On this build here, I did go with the clear vent line. You can see like there. And as you know, I do not like doing that all the way up. It looks terrible. The stuff doesn't do too great. But the differentials on this and transfer case and front diff are going to get converted to grease. And so the reason why I kind of like the clear vent line is because when you're filling them up and pumping it full of grease, you can start seeing when that grease is starting to come out. And you can follow it on the vent line. So as soon as you see the grease and the vent line start moving, then you know that you're filled and you can stop. That's what I was doing on my 300. It worked beautifully. There was no guesswork. So just as soon as that fluid starts getting pumped through, stop. And it will be converted to a black fuel line going up to the top. So this is where we're at for right now. I know it doesn't look like much, but the snorkels are cut. There's the riser, 2-foot riser. Just got to paint it. All these snorkels underneath right here. Still got to paint those. Waiting on the snorkel plate to dry. I will be selling these plates here, 2-inch or 1.5-inch hole with 3 or 5 vent lines. Take your pick. It's just going to mount to the front rack right there, which you'll see here in a little bit. 54 is done. Just got to do the wiring still. Ran up the crankcase, got it looped up underneath there a few times. It's going to create a little air pocket for you. If you happen to sink it, it's going to run back into the top of the air box there with that brass fitting. So headlights are done. I will be making and selling some of the brackets with or without the light. This is all stainless steel hardware in here. They fit into the stock housing as tight as can be. So whatever your plastics are doing, I'm just saying it's tilted a little bit, but whatever your plastic housings are doing, that's where they're going to sit. Not much you can do past that unless you want to trim it all up. But like I said before, I did the bullet hole connectors. High is going into the blue, which is your high beam. White is low, green is ground. So I do them in highs. Just waiting on a lift kit still. They sent me a lift kit from High Lifter, and the brackets are way too big. So we got to figure that out for them. Pretty well soon it's going back together. Still going to open up the carburetor, do my little touch to it, tune it. Everything's dielectric greased. So yeah, just about done. Just doing some waterproofing for him. I went ahead and added a dual one-way check valve. That way it's just double protection, so it doesn't. That way it still can float out if the flow gets stuck, and but no water's going to come in. So I've been doing this for a while and worked great on the 300, just to keep your butterfly and throttle working fine and pretty well sealed out. Is just load up the lip there with grease, some thick and tacky grease. Also, that's not going to do anything unless this is actually a drain hole right there. Right there, that goes right up into the throttle there. So that has got to be sealed up also. And sometimes too, where it mates between the float bolt and the carburetor body, that will also sometimes leave a gap. So I just keep on taking my finger with grease on there and pushing it up until it kind of starts poking out through the top there. And another spot is right here where your threads go into for your throttle cable there. Grease that up, push it in there, seal that up. And as far as your wiring goes for the 54, just take your green wire out of the bundle that goes into here, which is your neutral wire, and just ground it to the engine casing right there. I just cut a little hole in the sleeve for the wiring harness and pulled the green wire out, just chopped it up, put a ring terminal on there with some heat shrink, and you're done. And so here's going to be the review on the smoke tester. Just need a small little air compressor. Don't have much PSI right now, don't need it. This part right here converts down to like 1 PSI. So what you do is get your battery, go ahead and connect it up. Got some mineral oil in there, and we'll let that start heating up. And you can smell this stuff too pretty well, but we're just gonna wait till that starts pouring out. I can barely see it coming out already. Add some flow. I don't know if you can see that against smoke, so we're just gonna go ahead and pop that on. Bump up the PSI a little bit more, or the flow, I guess, not the PSI. How I do it is just turn off the lights. So it's gonna be kind of hard for you to see maybe. All right, so right there you can see that smoke coming out. Don't care about that. I never seal that part up. It's not needed. So we're gonna go through, start checking all around. Like I said, you can smell it too if you start noticing it from some places. Now this isn't gonna be my check, it's just kind of for you guys to see what this thing's all about. Once again, you can see it coming out from right there. You don't want to run it for more than 3 minutes or so at a time. Looks good to me. Go ahead and unplug it. Cut it down like that.